This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. And that means you. Hey, now welcome. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. Yes, you. You, and you too, your family. That means us. What does it mean when I say that we're creating millionaires one family at a time? It simply means that we are aiming for our net worth to be at least 7 figures or more. What do I mean by net worth? I simply mean the difference between everything you own minus what you owe. So if you take a look at everything that you own, let's take a look at your car, your house, your furniture, your clothing, your jewelry, the things that your kids have, everything that you own. And let's add that number. Now let's take everything that you owe. Let's take your student loans, your mortgage, your credit cards, your car note, and anything else that you own. You want to take what you owe minus what you own, and there you go. There's your net worth. Now, here's the problem that we're having as a community. People of color, women, single parents. We are right now facing a time in history where we may not only have a zero net worth as a community, but potentially a negative net worth. Let's take a look at all the college students who are graduating with degrees and hopes and dreams. They're graduating with no assets, with $2, $3, $4, $500,000 in student loans. Guess what? That's a negative net worth coming out of the door. So I want to share with you the stair steps to wealth. This is what I believe. I believe that it simply takes one step at a time. Now, depending on how you feel, you may want to take more than one step at a time, and that's okay if you have more energy. But I'm going to start off with stair step number 1, and that is to simply live below your means. What do I mean by that? I simply mean that we cannot defy mathematics. We cannot defy the one thing that is consistent. You see, you can't measure happiness. You can't measure joy. You can't measure fear. You can't measure pain. You can't measure whether someone likes you or not. I mean, you can maybe tell by their energy, but you can't measure it. It's not exact. I can't say that I have more joy than you or more happiness than the next person, but I can certainly quantify numbers. And so there's something that we all learned in first grade. 1 + 1 = 2. And if our stuff adds up to 10, it'll never get into 2. You see, I was born and raised in Chicago. My grandmother was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. And when I got off to school, I did what a lot of people did. I went into the credit card room. I didn't get one credit card. I got one of each. And when the creditors would call and say, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I'd say, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers. But when I got out into the real world, it was not funny. I remember getting my furniture from Rent-A-Center. Is that even around anymore? I remember not having enough credit or resources to get a car. I think that first little car I bought, I think it broke down on the way home from the dealer and I couldn't take it back. And so fast forward many years later, I am successful. I'm married, 3 children, big house in the subdivision of the suburbs that I lived in, but I was living a lie. You see, I was living check to Monday. What is that, you may ask? Well, check to check is a blessing. Let's just stop there. If you're living from check to check, based on where I was, you're at least getting from one payday to the next. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday, you're broke. But check to Monday is a whole entirely different game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills. Because in your mind, your current bills are not due yet. Am I telling the truth? When you are so far behind, you don't even think about the bills that are coming. You're still trying to rob Peter to pay Paul and Jane and Sue to go get the bills that were way back there. And by Monday, you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle, making $10, $20, $30, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a month, not a year. I said a month. It didn't matter how much money I made. I always found a way to be broke. So, what have I learned? What do we all have to learn? We have to learn this one basic thing. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve a money problem, you'd never have a bankrupt millionaire. You'd never have a bankrupt billionaire. So, what do we do about this? We all have to live below our means. So, if 1 plus 1 equals 2, you cannot spend 10. You can't even spend 2, because if you spend everything you have, then you're back to zero and you don't have any reserves for emergencies, for retirement, and for your future. So, how are you going to live below your means? We're simply going to start with this first rule. The first 10% of every dollar you get, you tithe. Now, I am a Christian. I love the Lord, and I tithe to my church. I believe that that's what I'm supposed to do. Now, some people choose to give in other places. I'm not going to judge that. That's up to you and what you feel comfortable with. But I can tell you one thing. One of my mentors told me, good givers are great getters. And most of my success in life has come from giving first and then receiving. So the first 10% you tithe. If nothing else, giving gives you the opportunity to be very strategic with what you're going to do with the rest of the money that you have. I remember when I started tithing, I had a big fat corporate paycheck, but my check stopped up here and my bills kept going all the way down here. And so I was broke whether I tithed or not. It wasn't like if I kept the tithing money, I was straight. I was broke either way. So I started tithing so at least I could have God on my broke side when I prayed. Okay? That's the truth. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save. And not just for a rainy day. You want to save for a come up. Okay? Now, we have had many recessions in the history of our country and in the history of the world. The Great Depression of the 20s, the Great Recession of 2008, the Great Pandelution of 2020 has caused major setbacks. But what you have to understand is whenever there is a setback, it is a setup for a comeback. And there are people who become millionaires and billionaires during recessions. I remember the recession of 2008. And stock dropped, significantly. And I remember one of my sorority sisters buying about 100,000 shares of stock for pennies on the dollar. And when she cashed that stock in, after the stock market recovered, she made lots of money. I didn't have any money. I was bankrupt then. I had gone through all my resources. I got caught. So if you save 10%, then what you're going to do is not only put yourself in a position where you can respond to emergencies, like the car broke down, the roof caved in, whatever the case may be, but you are also going to put yourself in a position where you can come up. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save. The next 30% is cash in your pocket. And this is cash to help you avoid a spending addiction. You see, a spending addiction is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and you walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need, talking about it was on sale. That was not on sale for you. Okay? If it ain't free, it ain't on sale. Okay? Right? So how many times have we done that? Now, I was living this lifestyle. I went to the grocery store. I had $100 cash. When I got to the cash register, I had $200 worth of stuff. What would I have done if I had a credit card, a debit card, or a check? This is the living check to Monday, Lynn Richardson, from back in the day. Let me tell you what I would have done. I would have done what most of us do. I would have either swiped that card or started writing that check without thinking. And this is what the world wants you to do. The world wants you to spend without thinking. If all you have, however, is the cash in your pocket, then it becomes impossible to overspend. And when you learn to control your spending, then you can move beyond that. So the 30% is for your incidentals. It's for groceries, gas, hair, nails, all of your jujus, okay? If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. That's how it goes. You cannot rob Peter to pay Paul, Jane, and Sue. You cannot go take from your bill money. You can't go take from your giving and tithing money. You can't go and take from your come-up money, your retirement money, your emergency fund. You can only spend what you have. And now the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. Now, here's the deal. When you look at your bill money, you either have more than enough or you don't have enough. If you have more than enough, that's not a license to go buy new things. It's certainly not a license to go buy a new car, to go buy new jewelry, to go buy things that decrease in value. Now you want to eliminate your debt. Why? Because there is a middleman between you and your wealth, and it's called interest. Interest is earning the money that you should earn. Interest is taking your future. Interest is building someone else's empire when that interest could be building your empire. You see, money will work harder for you than you can ever work for it. Let me repeat. Money will work harder for you than you can ever work for it. So you want to get the money working for you. So if you've got money left over after bills, you may decide to put an additional amount towards your saving, your investing, or possibly your quote unquote vacation account. And I don't really believe in vacations. I'll get to that in a moment. I'll tell you why before we close out. But I know you want to take a trip somewhere. It should be a business trip. And we'll get to the reason why it should be a business trip as opposed to a vacation. But the point is, you can take a small percentage and put it away for those things that you want to do. But the remaining amount of the extra dollars should go towards your debt. If you don't have enough money for bills, then you must subtract. Subtract what? Whatever's in the way. The car, the house, the child that's in school with private school tuition, whatever it is. If it doesn't fit, you must get rid of it. These are the stair steps to wealth. We are on stair step number 1. Live below your means. We'll be right back. This is the Millionaires Roundtable.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on The Steve Harvey Show or Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped so many clients face their money issues head on and help them achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals.
I spend my life helping people understand this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt.
Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. Over the last 20 years, she's created a curriculum of books and online classes that can help you at any level. She's helped thousands of clients get out of credit card debt. Lynn has also helped clients create home-based businesses and create multiple streams of income. Creating your financial dreams takes finding your purpose, then the money and the income streams will follow. For more information about Lynn Richardson and the curriculum that she has created, please visit lynnrichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth.
Hey, this is the Millionaires Roundtable financial tip of the day. Get a journal. This is what I have. Everywhere I go, I have a journal. I have something to write in. Not only do you want to write your ideas and your dreams and your thoughts, because thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through your fingertips, you'll be so surprised what will manifest from what you write. You see, when you think about the things you want to do, it's a thought up here. When you write it and then you go back and look at it, there's manifestation possibility. So not only do you want to write your thoughts and ideas and dreams, you want to write every single thing you spend money on. So while we're on the stair step number 1, while we are dealing with stair step number 1, and we're spending less money, living below our means, we definitely want to write every single expense down, because guess what? You'll be surprised when you take a look at the things you're spending money on, and then you ask yourself, why am I broke? Guess what? You can go look, oh, this is why I'm broke. And then you can make a decision to not spend on that thing. This is your Millionaires Roundtable tip of the day, and I'm rooting for you.
Check out Tax Talk Thursday with Lynn Richardson as she and her special guests give tools and tips to help us better understand the state and federal tax system.
Just give us something that we can use to get those who have never understood the tax system and how it works.
We have 2 tax systems in this country. And when I say that, I always have people say, oh, sure, sir, one for rich and one for poor. That is not true. That's a myth. There's one to make you rich, and there's one to take your wealth, basically.
Learn how to get greater tax returns, or learn how your business write-offs can lower your taxes.
It's more about how much money you keep than it is about how much money you earn, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather earn $2 million and end up with $1 million, or would you rather earn 1.25 million and keep it all.
We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you.
Tune in to Tax Talk Thursday on LynnRichardson.tv.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped clients face their money issues and achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. She's helped thousands of clients get out of debt, start home-based businesses, and create multiple streams of income. To learn more, please visit LynnRichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth.
Welcome back. This is the Millionaires Roundtable, where we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. I'm so excited about the stair steps to wealth, because it means if you keep climbing, you will eventually get where you're trying to go. And we're all aiming for a net worth of 7 figures or more. Why? Because while you are working, you get a paycheck. When it's time to stop working, you need a play check. Okay? Everybody needs a play check. So we're going to live below our means. And I have so many people calling in. So we've got a caller on the line. Good morning or good day or good afternoon. You are on the Millionaires Roundtable.
Hi, Dr. Lynn. Thank you for taking my call, and I'll let you continue to impart into the community.
Thank you.
Sure. So my question is, I'm moving cross country, which means my home-based business is moving too.
Okay.
I'm hoping I can claim moving expenses such as airfare, vehicle transport, moving services and supplies, junk hauling, and turning on new utilities. I hope that I can write that off. I want to know, can I claim these things, and what's the best way to prepare to present that to my tax preparer?
Okay. Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations on having a home-based business, because everybody needs a home-based business. Everybody, not just the man across the street, not just the woman down the block, not just the person that you're looking at on TV. Everybody needs a home-based business. Why? Because when you have a home-based business, you have access to hundreds and hundreds of tax deductions that you otherwise do not have access to. For example, when you have a home-based business, you get to write off the cell phone expense when you use your cell phone for business. You get to write off meals when you have meals for business. Now, if you use those things personally, you just use those things personally. So I say to everyone, whenever you have an expense, ask yourself, can I get my money back? What do I mean? I simply mean, if you spend the money, can you get it back? If you went to the grocery store and you bought $200 worth of groceries, and the grocery store manager called you in 2 weeks and said, hey, come back and get your money, you'd stop, drop, and roll. You'd go and get all your money. Well, that's what the IRS says when you have a home-based business. The IRS says you just spent this money on meals for business, or travel for business, or transportation for business, or equipment and supplies for business. Guess what? When it's tax time, you can get some of that money back if you properly document your expenses. And properly documenting your expenses means that you are documenting every single time you do business, who, what, when, where, why, and how much. You must learn the rules of the game and then play the game by the rules. So if you are moving and you're trying to document these expenses as business expenses, then you need to substantiate that the move is strictly for business. That's what you must do. If you are moving your entire home and your personal belongings as well, you're going to have to substantiate why those personal belongings are a business expense. Now, minimally, I see the potential to write off travel, whether that be airfare or bus fare or train fare or mileage and gas or whatever method of communication or transportation you are taking in order to make this happen. But it's going to be very difficult to document why your personal belongings also are a business expense. So my advice to you is this, is to simply document every single expense. Document every single expense. And this goes along with my teaching about spending and living below your means. Because when you live below your means, you have to track every single penny. And tracking every single penny simply means you're going to document if you spend 25 cents, $25, or $2,500, you're going to document it. Because some say money talks, but I say money walks away from you quietly and you don't know where it went. So if you want to know where your money went, you need to go track it down and see what's happening there. So what I highly recommend for you, and congratulations on your move, congratulations on your new business opportunity, congratulations on your home-based business. My simple advice would be to document everything. And then when you take your entire list of expenses to your tax preparer, you document why this is for business. Who did you do business with? When did the business expense take place? Where and what IRS legal documentation this business expense stands for. And if you can do that, if you can show that you are working in your business and running your business like a business with the intent to have a profit and properly document the expenses that go along with it, then there's a high probability that you may be able to write that trip off or those expenses off. Now, here's the other thing. If you cannot write off all of the expenses, here's something else that you can do. If you have a single member LLC, and you hire employees, and let's say those employees are your spouse or your children or what have you, and as a part of their job responsibilities, they must relocate, then your company can decide to pay the relocation expenses for its employees. That's also something that you may want to consider if you have an S corporation or a C corporation. So what I'm going to advise you to do is to make sure you talk to a tax preparer and talk to a tax preparer who is knowledgeable about business taxes, because every tax preparer does not specialize in every single area. And the tax code is well over 70,000 pages long, which is why most people don't know most of it. But you want to document things, and then you want to follow the rules of the game. You want to tell the truth, and you don't want to look over your shoulder. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I'm excited to follow through and take the actions that you suggested. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. This is the Millionaires Roundtable, and I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And I'll talk to you next time.
Now stay tuned for a sneak peek of Wealthy Wednesday on LynnRichardson.tv. People straight on that.
Let me tell you. So for those who don't know the 10, 10, 30, 50, first of all, you can get all the details in my book. Don't forget to subscribe and share, all that stuff. But in Living Check to Monday, I broke it down because I was making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month. I was still broke. And so I started actually following the rules, which are the truth. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save.
Yes.
The 30% is cash in your pocket. Cash for your incidentals, like groceries, gas, hair, nails. If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. And then the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money, that's not a license to go buy a lot of stuff. You want to get rid of your debt. If you don't have enough money, then you have to subtract.
And I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think people can appreciate, especially, I've been with you many times when you've spoken live to, thousands of women. And when they hear that breakdown of 10, 10, 30, 50, and you go into each and why it's important, it feels like they just ready to get loose. It's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing.
People are free. So if you don't put your appointments in your calendar, you'll be one place like, oh, I forgot about that. So we just call it a schedule. We keep it clean. We keep it easy. So I want everybody on this Wealthy Wednesday Light said it, people hear it and they're like, oh my God, that's freedom. This is a freedom series. This is about you going to the next level. The 10, 10, 30, 50. The first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, 30% cash, and it's to help you avoid a spending addiction, which is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and you walk out with $179.47 for the stuff you don't need. We're going to talk about that on another Wealthy Wednesday.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, author, entertainment executive, TV personality, and celebrity financial coach.
Please say hello to financial expert, my girl, Lynn Richardson. My buddy, finance expert, Lynn Richardson.
Hey, everybody.
Why do you need Lynn's help?
She uses her quick wit and humorous presentation style to help others face their issues and achieve their personal and professional goals, as well as spiritual harmony.
So I tell our sisters, you go to a rack, $500 purse. Self, do you usually have $500? $20 purse. Self, that's usually how much you got. That's the purse that you get off the rollback rack.
In this current economic crisis due to COVID-19, Sean Diddy Combs invited Lynn Richardson to contribute to his new website, OurFairShare.com, in which Lynn explains the Paycheck Protection Plan that assists small businesses in gaining access to U.S. government funds. Over the last 20 years, Lynn used her financial expertise to create a curriculum of books and online classes to help clients achieve financial freedom. Lynn teaches clients how to get out of credit card debt, shows them how to start a home-based business, and to create multiple streams of income. Lynn Richardson is a celebrity financial coach and founder of the 700 Credit Club. Lynn wants to talk to you about one of the biggest issues that can separate you from your financial freedom, and that's your credit score. Lynn overcame 2 bankruptcies and foreclosure, but with this plan, her score is now over 700, and she's inviting you to join the 700 Credit Club today. Here you'll learn to build your credit and have the financial freedom you dreamed of. For more information about the 700 Credit Club, please visit lynnrichardson.com.
Hi, I'm Lynn Richardson, and I'm excited about teaching you how to build multiple streams of income. But more importantly, I'm excited about teaching you why. I'm a financial expert, but I think there are some things you need to know about me that you'll never read in a newspaper or magazine or see anywhere. I was born and raised in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, who passed away almost at the age of 98, she was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. I grew up in the projects. I knew we weren't rich, but I didn't feel poor. When I needed money for something, I'd say, Grandma, I need money for a field trip. She'd tell me to go look in the room, on top of the shelf, inside the box, inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel, is $20. She'd hide the money like 20,000 times. So when I went off to college, I didn't know a lot about money. What I knew is I needed access to it. So I made the mistake that many people make. I went into a room, multiple credit card distributors were there. I didn't get one credit card. I decided to get one of each. Oh boy, that didn't go over well for me. When the creditor started calling and saying, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I said, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers, but when I got out into the real world, it wasn't funny anymore. My credit was jacked up. My first furniture came from Rent-A-Center, and I knew right then and there that I was entering the world with a bad relationship with money. Fast forward a few years later, I'm married, 3 children. My career is excellent. I'm making money, but guess what? I was living a lie. I was living check to Monday. You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid by Friday, and by the next payday you're broke. But check to Monday is a whole different game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills, and by Monday you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle, making $20, $30, $50, $60, $80,000 a month. Not a year, a month. So I learned this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve a money problem, you'd never have a bankrupt millionaire. You'd never have a bankrupt billionaire. So what do you have to do to build wealth? You have to spend less money. We're going to talk about that in another class. But you also have to get more money. And most importantly, you have to learn how to get your money back. Why? Because the more money you make, the more the IRS will take. So you want to learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules. And that's exactly what we're going to do, building multiple streams of income. So most of us were taught to go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. Sounds like good advice, right? Wrong. We should go to school, and get the basics, get the education that we need for whatever it is we're going to do in our lives, but we should learn how to create jobs. Why? Because one stream of income is hazardous to you.